sacred lands of the Cherokee Nation once spread across the mountains of North Georgia. Today, on a hill overlooking Cohutta Mountain, this stately brick mansion stands as a reminder of a noble past. Constructed in 1804 by Cherokee Indian Chief James Vann, this house remains a dominant and enduring symbol of the Cherokee civilization. Known as the showplace of the Cherokee Nation, this is the Chief Vann House.
Many people come thinking they're going to see 2 or 3 teepees stuck together on the hill. And so we must quickly learn that the Cherokees of North Georgia never lived in teepees and had had wattle and daub houses and then log houses for several hundred years before the white man ever came.
There are very few Cherokee structures left in Georgia, and this was built as a showplace to the Cherokee Nation to show the accomplishments that the Cherokees had made.
Architecturally, the Vann House is a blend of late Georgian and early federal styles. It stands 2.5 stories tall, covers nearly 1,500 square feet, and contains 6 rooms. From the outside, the house looks like many other houses in the southeastern United States, but inside, it has a distinctly Native American presence. The interior of the house is painted in 4 colors. These colors represent different elements of the natural world. Blue stands for the sky. Green represents the grass. Yellow is for the harvest fields. And red represents the rich Georgia clay from which the bricks of the Vann House were constructed.
We know that everything that they needed to build this house was right here on their property. The bricks were made out of the red clay. Most of the wood came from the pine and the oak trees. The hinges on the doors were made in Vann's blacksmith shop. The Vann House was built back in 1804 for James Vann. Now, James Vann was a Cherokee Indian chief. His mother was a Cherokee, and his father was a Scott trader.
James Vann was an unusual fellow. Some people call him controversial. Some authors record him as being a traitor. He's been called a lot of things.
When Vann died in 1809, he left the house and property to his youngest son, Joseph. Joseph Vann grew up, married, and began his family here. Because of his keen business sense, Cherokees and white settlers alike soon called him Rich Joe. In addition to the house, Rich Joe acquired over 4,000 acres of land. In the early 17th century, this land belonged to the Cherokee Nation. But when gold was discovered in Dahlonega in the 1820s, white settlers forcibly removed the native Cherokees.
Joseph was evicted under a state law that Georgia had passed, intending to use it against the wealthier Cherokees particularly. One of the laws said that no white man could work for an Indian, and Joseph, as he had often done in the past, hired a white man who was to come work for him as an overseer for the year 1834.
Before Vann's new overseer arrived, the Georgia militia took possession of the house and property and evicted the Vanns. After the eviction, the Vann House entered into a dark phase of history. From 1835 to 1947, more than 100 different families lived here. It then stood empty from 1947 until 1951. During this time, vandals nearly wrecked the once stately mansion.
The porches were torn off. The floor was used as firewood. Most all the windows were broken out.
The last owner of the Vann House was Dr. J.E. Bradford, who sold the house to the Whitfield Murray Historical Society. It was then deeded to the Georgia Historical Commission, and today is owned and managed by the Department of Natural Resources.
The state spent approximately $75,000 in the restoration. And then a lot of research was done to do the house as much like it had been while the Vanns were living here.
Inside, the most compelling feature of the main hallway is this hanging stairway.
The stairway is the oldest example of cantilevered construction in Georgia and is unique because we really don't know what's holding it up.
Engineers and carpenters continue to come here to look at the stairway. They've never seen anything exactly like it.
It has been x-rayed, so we know there's no metal in it. It was put together with wooden pegs. But what makes our stairway even more unique is that it extends out over the hallway, and the landing has a step in the middle of it, which means there are no beams that can go all the way across from the wall to hold up the outer corners. It's still pretty amazing to imagine this piece of architecture being done in 1803, 1804, here in the middle of the Cherokee Nation.
Beyond the stairway on the first floor is a drawing room. Here the mantel reaches 12 feet from floor to ceiling and offers a striking example of the four colors represented throughout the house.
The furnishings that we have in the house today are period pieces, things that people have donated or the state has bought. They date back from 1780 to about 1840. The English grandfather clock dates back to 1790. It's still ticking and keeping good time. There's also a sofa that dates back to 1820. There are two chairs that came from the Chester Inn, and the little oval-shaped writing table between these two chairs is the only original piece of furniture of the Vanns. And the piano dates back to 1825. It was made in Leipzig, Germany. It's made out of rosewood. And on the piano is a violin, and that belonged to Joe Vann's grandson, Robert Preston Vann. You'll also notice the window treatments. They were all designed for the period of time, and they have a lot of handwork on them.
Across the hall, the dining room is the only room in the house painted in a single color. Located here is this reproduction of a Cherokee Indian chief's dining room table.
On the table are some of the most authentic furnishings we have in the house, dishes and flatware exactly like those the Vanns had. During the restoration of the house, archaeologists found several pieces of this typeware in the yard.
Nowhere is the history of the house more evident than here, on the first landing of the stairway. This charred mark has been here since the 1830s, when troops from the Georgia militia evicted the Vanns. The hallway of the second floor was used as a working area. Located here are a spinning wheel and a loom. This quilt, made by an African slave in 1811, is thought to be the oldest surviving quilt made by a slave in Georgia. Off the hallway are two bedrooms. This one is believed to be the master bedroom used by the Vanns.
We know that Vann enjoyed gambling of all kind, and so we thought it appropriate to have the game table and the wine bottle and cards in this room. And there's also two Windsor chairs dating back to 1800. On the mantel, you'll see a Mark Leavenworth clock dating back to the 1820s. All the parts are still intact, and you will see reproduction candlesticks all through the house. Also a pipe box with a long stem clay pipe, and there's another washstand in this room, and a hooded highboy dating back to 1800. Out this east window, you have full view of Fort Mountain and the Grassy Mountains. So it was a beautiful area to have a house built.
Across the hall from the master bedroom is the guest bedroom, a sofa from the early 1800s, a bed from the early 20th century, and a chest donated by Ivan Allen are featured here. This sleigh bed was made by a former slave at Carter's Quarter, a nearby plantation. Dating back to 1780, this corner chair is the oldest piece of furniture in the house.
This bedroom was possibly where President James Monroe spent the night when he visited the Vans in 1819. We can't say George Washington ever slept here, but another president did.
On the third level are 2 rooms where the children slept. One room was for the girls, and the other for the boys.
People used to talk of these were lookout rooms, and there were holes where people could watch for attackers and could put their guns through, but that probably wasn't the case. They did get the nickname the coffin rooms because of the unusual shape of the ceilings and some rounded corners of the rooms.
Rope beds like these gave rise to the expression, sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. This was because the ropes had to be tightened periodically.
In the girls' room, you notice the trundle bed. And there's also 2 authentic Cherokee baskets in that room. The larger one is well over 200 years old, and the smaller basket is a double weave, and that was found in a log cabin after the Indians were removed from here in 1838. That was in the attic of one of the log cabins and has been kept in the family all these years and is here on loan at the Van House. And then the violin.
The Van House offers a unique opportunity to learn about an important part of our past. This house, the showplace of the Cherokee Nation, is a direct reminder that the land of North Georgia once belonged to the Cherokee Indians. Our preservation of the Van House brings that history to life for thousands of visitors a year.
We can read it, we can have teachers tell us about it in school, but coming and seeing where Mr. Van lived and where President Monroe slept and learning that this was built by an Indian reminds us constantly that they were here first and that everything that happened in the past somehow played a part in our being here today, either as a visitor, a worker, or a local resident. For if we don't know where we came from, how will we ever get where we're going?